Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I want to educate you about what they call gray area drinking. This article just came across my desk and it really resonated with me. A couple of years ago, I did a video on California sober. And I guess a well-known celebrity had advocated that it was okay if she was, quote, California sober. And what she meant by that was, and her drug of choice was marijuana, that it's okay to use occasionally, okay? And that's what she was advocating. It's okay to use occasionally. And what she came to find out was that apparently it's not okay to use occasionally if you are somebody with a substance use disorder. And it turned out that she had a substance use disorder and there was no occasional about it. And it was affecting her ability to just, to function on a daily basis. This article, which came across my desk, talks about gray area drinking. And here's what they talked about. Gray area drinking is not a formal term that doctors or many addiction specialists will use. Still, it's a concept that has lately captured public imagination. I don't know how they came up with that idea, but in any event, it describes a category of people who've long been left out of conversations about substance abuse. Those who aren't necessarily living with addiction, but who have questions about their relationship with alcohol. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that 90% of people who drink excessively, meaning they binge drink or are heavy drinkers, drink while they're pregnant or drink even though they're under 21, do not actually meet the criteria for severe alcohol use disorder. At the same time, though, the official bar for heavy drinking is lower than many Americans realize. Health officials consider it to be anything above 8 drinks per week for women and 15 drinks per week for men. Okay, look, let's talk about this for a second. In my world, right, families call us because somebody in the family has some type of substance use disorder or mental health issues or both, right? I count it's a behavioral health issue, right? That's the category, that's the arena that we work in. And what we're really talking about here is somebody who is using or is suffering from a mental health disorder who simply cannot function on a daily basis. So, I mean, they basically said, well, if you're a man and you drink less than 15 drinks a week, you're okay. If you're a woman and it's it's less than 8 drinks, you're okay. Okay, there's no line in the sand here. There's no like, well, here's your number, and if you don't meet that number, you don't have a problem. I mean, this sort of gray area drinking is really the same thing as California sober. It's just a cop-out. It's completely ridiculous. And it's not about whether or not somebody has a, defined or substance use disorder. We're talking about somebody who has been suffering for years and years and years, and it is slowly destroying them, and it is slowly destroying their family, okay, and their ability to function. I mean, are we talking about somebody who just occasionally drinks too much, or are we dealing with somebody who over time their physical health is deteriorating, their mental health is deteriorating, their ability to function, right? They're driving drunk, or they're driving high, or they're missing days at work, or maybe they lost their job, or if they're in school, their grades are suffering, they can't function. Their eating habits have changed. They're not bathing on a daily basis. They're hanging out with people who they wouldn't normally spend time with. They've become aloof. They're sleeping all day. They're up all night. Perhaps they've been Baker acted. Perhaps they've been arrested. I mean, there's a whole litany of things that we see. But you're dealing with somebody whose life is basically revolves around using, okay? And obviously as lawyers, we have to make sure they meet certain criteria. But this whole idea of gray area drinking and California sober is just completely ridiculous. And I want to show you that I'm going to send you the link in the video with regards to what they're talking about here. But this is completely ridiculous. It's almost like they're saying, well, if you're a man and you only drink 14 drinks a week, it doesn't matter. You're fine. If you're a woman and you only drink 7 drinks a week, it's okay. Look, we all respond to substances differently. And if this is affecting your ability to function right, as a normal human being, then there's a problem. And I don't care how many drinks or how few drinks that you're having, or how much marijuana you use, or how little marijuana that you use. Clearly, if there's a problem, there's a problem. And nobody knows that better than the family, because you're the ones that know this person better than anybody. And so this is the world that we live in, okay? And so if you're a family who has a loved one and there's a problem here, and they're in denial about the problem, which most people with substance use disorders are, and they've either been to treatment and don't stay long enough, or simply won't go to treatment, or they've been told by a clinician they need to take meds and won't do so, then yeah, I think there's a problem. And you'll know there's a problem because it's affecting the entire family. So I wanted to share this with you. I find these articles interesting where there's some type of, line in the sand. Okay, there's no line in the sand. There's just families that suffer and continue to suffer. But there is an answer. And the answer is to make the decision and the commitment to save them, because they can't make it for themselves. If they could, they would. So I'll put the link in the video to this article. I appreciate you tuning in. I'd love a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel for more content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.